Hello, everybody. My name is Mr. Delamorte. Welcome to Algebra 2. I'm the one in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, or hopefully it's the upper right-hand corner. Welcome to remote learning, I guess. I just wanted to share with you kind of the Algebra 2 course, what your son or daughter can expect, and to kind of build a line of communication with all you parents. So these are some of the things that I'm going to kind of go through, just kind of some Zoom expectations, it's some little things about Zoom that I want to encourage your son or daughter to use, the daily schedule, and then kind of remote learning expectations for the kids. I'm also going to show Google Classroom. I will post on School Wires. If you look at my profile, there'll be links for you to join my Google Classroom if that's what you wish, as well as all my contact information at the end, okay? So with that being said, as far as Zoom class expectations, if you could help, assist me on getting your son or daughter there on time, coming prepared. They need something to write on, something to write with. They're dressed appropriately. They're respecting others in class. Now, I have not had any of these issues as of yet. I don't plan to, but these are just daily expectations. The big one on the last two on the bottom row, please encourage your son or daughter to be engaged. Have them ask me questions. Have them look for extra problems to do or challenge themselves, and ask questions if they need any assistance. If they're struggling in any way, have them reach out. I will be more than willing to help them in any way necessary. Okay. As far as Zoom expectations, because Zoom is the platform that our district has chosen, we ask that all students log in with their first and last name. Most of my students, unfortunately, do not turn on their videos. So in order for me to see who it is, I need them to put their first and last name on there. They can use the chat feature. I'll get into that in a minute. We want to encourage them to use their school-issued Chromebook. We have licenses. Our district has licenses to certain resources, and using their Chromebook allows them to use those resources. So we want to encourage that. I do have them keep on mute just in case there is any background noise or ambient noise that happens, maybe a dog barking. Just less distractions in class. But if they ever need to speak or if they ever have a question, they are able to unmute themselves. Make sure the background is appropriate. The students can alter their backgrounds on Zoom, so just making sure that it's an appropriate image, and then just make sure that it's charged on a daily basis. Okay. Now, I do want to say that within our Google Classroom, there is a classwork tab, and this is where I post all of our resources. So under that classwork tab, if they ever have trouble finding my Zoom link, they can. It's there. It's always there, as well as my agenda for the day. So if they go in, they should be able to find today's date, and then they can find the agenda for that day. It usually has a class presentation, has some sort of notes or tutorial video, and some practice. And we usually go through those things on a daily basis. So if you ever go onto Google Classroom or you're wondering what your students are going to do today, you can always go into Google Classroom. You can click on the classwork tab, and then you can see the daily agenda. Feel free, if you can't find that, please let me know if you have any questions. Learning how to use Zoom, okay? There are two big features that Zoom has here. The first one is the unmute. If a student has a question, please ask them to unmute themselves and ask it. Most of the time, I'm sitting in a classroom talking to myself on a computer. So the more engagement I can get with the students, the better. I love to hear their voices. Please encourage your son or daughter to speak up if needed. The second is the video. Again, if they don't feel comfortable, showing their faces on screen, I get it, but I want to encourage them all to use their video. Whether it just be pointing their screen up at the sky and giving me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever it is, the more interaction that I can get with them, the better. Okay, so two little things there. There's also a little button on here that's a chat feature. They can click in, they can type things, they can send me private messages. No one else in class will see it, and they can send me those messages. Lastly, if we are in a little breakout room, they can use the share feature. They can share their screen with me. We can talk about a problem together. Sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words. So that share screen is a wonderful tool for them to use. Okay. I reference those breakout rooms. We will do group work, just like we would do in class. I send out, I put them in groups of 2 to 3, maybe 3 to 4, and then they can work together on a particular task. When they're in those groups, again, I encourage them to turn their videos on, engage with their partners. They can even, there's a little button for them to ask for help. It calls me over to their group. I can enter their chat room, and I can help them with whatever they need. They can share their screens. We can work together. Again, this is more of a collaborative environment. This is what we're trying to encourage in our mathematics classroom. Okay. Now, something that you might have seen in the other videos, the daily schedule. Your son or daughter might be on an orange day or a blue day. It depends on what period they have me for Algebra 2. If they have me periods 1 through 3, they'll have me on orange days. Periods 4 through 7, they'll have me on blue days. And the next slide here is just kind of which days are which. Okay, so if you want to take a picture of this, or you can always access this video file. You can see which days they have me in class and which days they don't. Okay. Remote learning expectations. Okay. One of the big struggles that I've had is I have some students that join my Zoom but then fail to participate in class. They don't engage with my lessons sometimes. So what I want to do is I want to really, really encourage all my students to turn their cameras on. If they don't feel comfortable turning their cameras on, then I want them to unmute for discussion. And if they still don't feel comfortable doing that, then I do need them to participate in live work. I need to see that they are engaged in learning in order to mark them there for attendance. Okay, just because they sign into my Zoom doesn't mean that they are part of my attendance. If I can't hear you and I can't see you and I don't see any work that you've accomplished, unfortunately, I do mark them absent. So if you can encourage your son or daughter to participate in one of those 3 things, that would be great. And then we don't have any attendance issues in the future. If you do have an attendance question, email me. Let me know. I will gladly get back to you as quickly as I can. I think we're all attached to our computers at this point. So if there's a question about attendance or why your son or daughter was marked absent, please contact me. I will gladly engage in that discussion with you. Okay. All right. So I referenced Google Classroom a little bit. So there is a stream on Google Classroom. All parents can be invited into Google Classroom. I attached the Google link. If you don't know how to get there, email me. I'll pull up my contact information here in just a second. But all of the classwork, all of their, some of their quick grades before I transfer them to Infinite Campus are all posted on here. So I can get that feedback to you in a timely manner. Again, at the very top, there's a classwork tab. You can see what their agenda for the day is, what they're supposed to be doing on a daily basis. Did they have homework? Did they turn in their homework? These are all things that you can check on. And again, the Google Classroom code will be posted on School Wires for you to see. Okay. Here's a kind of a look at what that classwork tab looks like. On the left, you can click on the date. This was the agenda for 8/26. It has kind of the presentation as well as the classwork that we're going to do. Okay. Usually there's 2 or 3 things within each class period. So this is what it looks like on my end. All right. If you ever need to get a hold of me, my phone number is 815-407-5146. My email address is below it. It's my last name, Delamorte, RJ, my first and middle initial, at vvsd.org. I hope to hear from you if you have any questions. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing your son or daughter in class every other day, and hopefully we can get through this remote learning process together. Thank you very much.